You got questions going out of your mind. Someone with answers now that's hard to find. Like the what and the why and the how stuff works, or just where to go to avoid all the jerks. She's Gear Abby, Gear Abby, Gear Abby, advice that doesn't suck. Gear Abby.
Hello there, my outdoorsy friends, and welcome to Gear Abby, where we tackle the controversial, weird, obscure, and taboo topics that other outdoor podcasts refuse to touch. I'm Shawnté Salabert, an outdoor educator, writer, former school social worker, and tarot card reader, who's hiked, run, climbed, paddled, and adventured across the United States and beyond. And here on Gear Abby, I channel all that experience and more into answering your burning questions about our relationships with outdoor people, products, places, and pastimes. Because remember, my outdoor-loving pals, there are no dumb questions, just smart advice. All right, my friends, you know how this works. You're going to send your questions into deargearabby@gmail.com. Just keep them flowing. I love it. It gives me a reason to check my email every day. And I'm going to pick my favorites to answer here on the show with the man joining us today, as he always does, my partner in gear, the producer of Gear Abby, and a guy who's able to quote extensively from the art house film Vertical Limit, Colin True.
Shawnté, I've been thinking a lot about Dad. We shouldn't have gotten him a grave. We should have come up here with his ashes. He said this is where he was happiest. He was a climber. I think every real climber would want to stay on the mountain. What do you think?
Wow, I feel like I was on the mountain, Colin.
Did you feel like you were back in? Would you feel like you're back in the movie?
I felt like I was in the movie. I feel like very cold. Am I Robin Tunney? You're Chris O'Donnell in that, yes?
That was actually
Robin.
That was actually Robin Tunney. Yeah. We're doing a little gender
Who wouldn't
swap
want
here.
to be Robin Tunney? I mean, come on.
Seriously.
It's a good question. She should be in the craft.
It's a good question.
I mean, listener poll: who wouldn't want to be Robin Tunney?
She can mountaineer with nitroglycerin and do witchcraft.
Yeah, listeners. If you have not seen Vertical Limit, if you want to be on Colin's good side this year, go watch it. It's an impressive film. It should have won every Oscar, all the Oscars. The Oscar for best suspension of disbelief.
I'm not going to let you put all of the Vertical Limit love on me. You are an equal enthusiast when it comes to Vertical Limit and the ridiculousness of that movie.
That's fair. I'll take it. I feel like we really had a strong start today, Colin.
We got Robin Tunney.
We got Robin Tunney, the number one Robin Tunney fan club over here.
Should we just pivot to a Robin Tunney fan podcast? Is that what we should do instead of this outdoor bullshit that we're always talking about?
Yeah, at some point we're going to run out of topics, right?
Right.
I don't know. Well, until then, I think we do have a few legit listener questions this week. So why don't you kick things off?
I hope you're excited. We have a repeat listener. Dear Gear Abby, how do people in general feel about the etiquette of speaking to other hikers, etc., who have bad practices like littering, playing loud music, having pets in no pet areas, etc.? On one hand, I know it can feel very obnoxious. On the other hand, if you do it without being shitty or assuming ill intent, maybe it can help educate people who do genuinely want to be good members of the community. Signed, Angry Rae.
Oh, yeah. Angry
Rae
is back. I love it. And still angry.
Yeah, I maybe should have read that a little more angry. She's trying not to be angry, but I feel like she's very angry.
Maybe Rae wants to be less angry.
Yeah.
But Rae, you do raise a great question about whether it is even just a good idea to interact with people that you perceive as being in the wrong when you're out having a nice time in nature. And notice my emphasis on perceive. And if so, how do you do it in a way that will actually encourage learning and maybe even, help them deepen their experience in the out of doors? So I want to be clear. So Rae here is not talking about, Rae is talking about issues of etiquette, not talking about issues of immediate safety. And to me, this is kind of where it gets sticky. Whether or not you're talking about simple etiquette, say like somebody whose dogs are running around unleashed on a busy, at a busy crag or whatever, or somebody, quote, breaking posted rules like riding a bike on a trail where it's prohibited. By deciding to speak up, you are essentially deciding to take on the role of enforcer. I don't know why I had to say that in a deeper voice. Colin, can you say enforcer for me, please?
Enforcer.
That's right. Do you do voiceovers? You should really do voiceover work.
Maybe I should.
You should. I can't believe you don't. I can believe I don't, because every time I listen back to
spend the rest of this episode Googling that,
No, focus.
That's a good point. You should as well.
No, I'm
Again,
terrible.
should we just ditch this whole outdoor podcast
That's
thing?
right.
Robin Tunney voiceovers. Let's go.
It's very specific. But yeah, so you're basically going to be the say it again.
Enforcer.
Thank you. So even if you're coming at it from an educational perspective, so it's something to sit with for a moment.
This is a little hairy.
I know.
This is a little hairy, this
I know,
one.
it really is. It is. And there's going to be people who like my answer, people who do not. And that's okay. You can always write into Dear Gear Abby. If you've been a loyal listener so far, you know that we just recently had a listener feedback email that was very passionate.
Yes. We've all thought these things.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to say to Angry Rae, but I know that we have all encountered these feelings while out and about in nature.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. That's where it gets sticky, like you said. It's like, all right, if somebody is being unsafe and you think someone's going to get hurt or, start a fire or something, okay, no question in my mind. But I say this in a non-judgmental way because, again, we've all been, I think most of us have been on this side where we're trying to figure out, like, should I say something? Should I not? But when these scenarios come up in real life, try to pause for a second and just think about why you might want to interact with this person and the outcome you hope to achieve. And this might be a painful thing to hear, but I find that a lot of the time we really want to talk to people about what they're doing, not because we want to educate them or like make a stronger outdoor community, but because honestly, we find their behavior annoying as shit. Like,
well, yes.
That's the
Sorry,
truth.
not to chime in on it, but yes, that's exactly what this is. There's a lot of subjectivity around some of these things too.
It really is. And again, it goes back to like, are you a park ranger? Do you want to be a park ranger? Maybe you should get that job. But let's dig in and let's actually think about this beyond. So for somebody like me who's been educating others about the outdoors since I first ran the Nature Lodge at summer camp 900 years ago, and for somebody, again, me, who seems to be growing a little crankier in general by the hour, thank you, hormones.
Well, you just said you're 900 years old. You could be a little cranky. It's okay.
Thank you. Now that I've got bursitis and corns, and what else have we talked? Have we talked about my arthritis yet?
Do you have corns on your bursitis?
Oh, not yet, but we'll see. Maybe after this episode. That's why we got to pivot to voiceovers. I need less activity in my life, apparently.
Enforcer.
But yeah,
not there?
Not there. No, that's great.
Okay.
Just keep it up. We'll see if we can find some more words for you to enunciate on this episode. But yeah, I think there's very few times these days when I actually will approach a stranger about their behavior outside unless I really do think it's a safety issue. But if I do decide to talk to somebody, my basics are this. I'm going to check in with myself first. Do I think this interaction is actually going to result in not just them changing their behavior in this moment, but maybe also causing, like creating a new neural pathway, if you will, a new way of thinking about things? Can I actually help them have a deeper relationship to whatever they're doing, So in these cases, I do go in with good intent. As you mentioned, Rae, I think that's really important, is to assume the best out of each other. And I try to go in gentle. I'm not rushing up to somebody, finger wagging and telling them bad hiker. Actually, you could do that one, Colin. Bad hiker.
Bad hiker.
It freaks me out how good you are at this. Okay. So we're not doing that, right? So if we go back to our infancy little baby episode 1 of Gear Abby, some of you might recall. I know. Aw, she was so cute back then. Now she's just full of deep voiced men saying things.
Enforcer.
I feel like I have to say it like the enforcer. No, I can't.
I like that. No, that works.
Hey.
Yeah.
Like I'm snapping. I'm in a jazz club.
It's like a disco artist from the 70s or something.
Ooh,
the Enforcer.
disco, or maybe like a little trip hop. Maybe I'm getting moody. I'm gonna workshop this later.
Okay.
But first, I should answer Rae's question.
I'm hearing Rae yelling, "Get on with it!"
Rae's just like, "Shut up, shut up, Shawnté." Okay, shut up, but keep talking. So anyway, go back to episode 1. You might recall a little story about the guy. I mentioned this in passing, but the guy who walked past a group of us who were sitting at a lake, and there were some young women that were next to us, and they had their tents pretty close to the water. And this guy just straight up yelled across, "Fuck the 100-foot rule, huh?" Like, remember that guy? That is how we don't want to do that. This is exactly, you don't want to be an obnoxious asshole, know-it-all, who just charges straight out of the gate with aggression. You are not going to change people's minds that way. You're honestly more likely to ramp up some bad interaction by doing it that way. Because, again, you don't need to be the enforcer. The world is not a Facebook comment section. We are all actual real-life human beings who deserve to be treated with a base level of respect until proven otherwise. So here's what I would do. Be kind and curious. And again, assume good intent. I'm thinking about a time I was camping near a group of people who had their radio blasting like well past quiet hours at the campground. And a couple of people had already done the whole shut up thing from their tents,
I've been that guy.
Right? I think we've all been
I don't
that.
really, I'm too lazy or I don't have the balls to get out of my tent right now. So I'm just going to yell, shut up. And hopefully
Right.
they'll like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's the
No,
lazy
it never
person's
happens.
like fist
Yeah.
shaking. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, nothing changed. You know, the music's still
Right.
going. So at this point, this has happened to me at other campgrounds. This is why I usually don't stay in front country campgrounds. But I usually at this point will either, like, I already had my earplugs in, I could hear them through it. So at this point, I'm like, all right, is this a just go cut my losses, join, see if they'll let me sit at the campfire moment? So I wandered over to say hi and kind of assess the situation. And before I could even say hello, one of the guys who was sitting there just kind of popped up. They were all about college age. And he just popped up and apologized immediately. He's like, I'm so sorry. And he told me they lived in LA. I was like, me too. He's like, this is our first time camping. We have never done this before. And as soon as it got dark out, we all got freaked out. We're like afraid of animals. We're afraid to sleep outside. So we figured if we kept the radio on, at least it would scare away the animals. And so I was like, oh man, I get it. Like, of course, I can have compassion for that. Like, sure, it can still be annoying at the same time that I can have compassion for it. So I don't know. I just sat down there with them for a little bit and shot the shit and talked to them about it. Like, oh, I get it. I've been doing this for a while, but I remember being afraid. And this is why I wear earplugs, because I don't want to hear what's coming for me in the middle of the night. They're like, oh, that's not a bad idea. But so they ended up going to bed and I went to bed. And in the morning, that guy came up to me and he thanked me for not being mean. He's like, thank you for being nice and for helping us out. It actually helped us all feel a lot more comfortable. So I really do think like approaching people with kindness is the way to go. Assume that they just don't know if you really feel like you have to say something. But I will say, then again, I've absolutely had people to tell me to fuck off. So there's that. So
Right.
choose your battles, Rae.
I think it comes down to the second choice if you decide to engage, right? Because it's like I'll often, especially mountain biking, if someone's doing a poor etiquette thing of like, they're not yielding to the uphill, to hikers or the uphill riders, whatever. If I'm like, hey, uphill riders have the right of way, and just like hopefully it lands. And then also if their response is like, fuck you, dickhead, it's like, okay, I'm just going to keep on. You're not interested in having this conversation, so I'm just going to keep on with my day. I tried. But at that point, a lot of people would then, no, we got to double down. I'm like, no, sir, you're in the wrong. It's like, it's just not going to end well.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things are usually misunderstandings, like you said. I think the music one's a really good one. People just don't know. I was on a river trip with somebody who had never been on a river trip before, is not a outdoorsy person, who the first hour in the boat was like pulled out the waterproof radio or Bluetooth speaker or whatever. And I looked over at him. I just kind of, this is an audio medium. You can't see what I'm doing, listeners, but I just kind of like, just kind of shook my head like, no. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, we're with like the hippie paddle outfit over here. Like, this is not like the bro like paddling. And yes, of course, they did not want that to happen. But he didn't know. He really didn't know. And he put it away and he respected the rules. So most of the time people don't know. But it is, I think, about that second interaction. Usually it's like, what's this going to lead to if you need to choose that battle? If you choose violence, Rae, just be prepared for that to come back to bite you.
If you choose violence. Perfect.
Choose violence.
Good one. I love the opportunity to pick my battles in the outdoors, Colin. I feel like that's what we do every single week, is you and I just picking battles with each other, battling, just small fighting, like sparring.
Yes, picking battles is what we do around here, for sure.
That's what we're doing right now, apparently.
Yes, it is. It is.
All right. Well, I don't want to fight with you today or any day. Actually,
that's a lie.
That's a lie. Let's be honest. But if we want to keep the peace, why don't you give me another question?
Okay. This is an exciting one because I have a lot of biases around mountain towns, and this one sort of leans right into my wheelhouse here. I'm excited to see what you say about this one. So, Dear Gear Abbey, I moved to my dream mountain town a few months ago, and I've been trying to meet as many people as I can so that I have people to ski and bike with. I'm not a solo girly yet. So far, it's been working pretty well, except that everyone I've hung out with so far seems to have this holier-than-thou vibe, like they're the coolest, most expert skier, rider, mountain person in the world. Yeah, I think we've all experienced a little of that on occasion. Someone literally told me that I had to earn my turn since I moved from a city, and the joke's on them. I grew up dirt biking with my brothers. Am I just meeting the wrong people?
Yes.
Is this just what people in mountain towns are like?
Yes.
How can I find cool people that aren't assholes? Signed, where are the actual cool kids? Please don't use my real name. I'm not trying to become public enemy number one.
Okay, don't worry, cool kids. Your secret is safe with us. First, congratulations on moving to your dream town. Honestly, one of the reasons I've never made the leap myself is that I'm kind of worried that mountain towns might be super cliquey, and I have zero desire to reenact the glory days of middle school, which were not very glorious. So since I'm not terribly well versed on how to find non-assholes in mountain towns, I'm very, very good at finding the assholes. I figured we'd bring in guest expert Katie Burrell. She is a comedian, writer, director, actor, skier, and certified interwebs sensation who absolutely skewers ski culture, outdoor tropes, and of course, mountain towns on social media, her online shorts, and in projects like her feature film debut, Weak Layers. Thanks for joining us, Katie.
So thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me. I was listening to the question and I have something to say right off the top, which is just hurt people hurt people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is actually a culturally systemic issue in mountain towns where I don't think that person that said you got to earn your turns didn't have that said to them as well. And I always love to hear about people that move to mountain towns complaining about people moving to mountain towns. It's quite an impressively non-self-reflective way of being. Like quite literally, people are like, I've lived here for 8 years and all these people now are moving here and God damn these folks, da, da, da. It's like, I'm sorry, can we go back to the top of that sentence? When you also moved to this mountain town however many years ago?
I mean, Katie, when you move to a mountain town, as long as you stay a year, you just become Paul Bunyan or something at that point, I think is how it works.
Yeah, it's like a vintage thing. People think that their wine, it's like the longer they've been there, the more expensive, the more valuable they are to said, culture, whatever it is.
Wait, so Katie, I have to ask you though, before you go deeper in this, I love this. We're going to what's basically like a psychology session here. Just to make sure you're actually qualified to answer this question, have you ever met someone who wasn't an asshole in a mountain town?
Well, I had to sort of take a different, short answer, no. I had to take a sort of...
Damn it.
Except for those who I sort of campaigned to import myself, like my best friend from university. So have I ever met a non-asshole? It's not even that they're assholes. Like some of these people can't help themselves once they get going, I find. It's like once they get locked into the skis with the skins on, once they get on the bike with the clips and the clip pedal, once they start, they can't stop. And so it's almost like something else takes over and they stop thinking about everyone around them. That comes, with doing sports with them. However, I will say, I've noticed in the last, say 5 years, as one, they've started to reproduce. It's become a little bit of a more gentle pace. God, is there anything I love more than my pregnant friends? 8 months pregnant and they're going a reasonable pace. I'm like, wow, hi, it's so nice to have you back here. Tell me more about how you're on the skin track or whatever. And they're just livid and they're like, oh, we're slowing everybody up. And I'm like, oh, I thought you said that was never a problem. I thought that didn't matter. Now here you are in the back experiencing it for the first time. But no, I've really enjoyed this chapter. And then there's also something happening I'm noticing with the maturing out of the young, early 20s, aggression, I think I'm noticing. But besides the point.
Oh no, but it is the point. You're just saying meet babies and old people and then you'll be okay.
Well, to answer this particular question, I'm just going to, we can only speak to our own experiences in this life, right? So what I will say is that I had to go public with it. I went public with my desire to meet the recreationalists who are there skiing and biking in shame. Okay. And having to sort of fall on my sword and publicly declare that I needed folks who went at who approached these things with less of a sort of burning need to be validated at the speed with which they can go up and down mountains. I found there to be this like incredible subculture in mountain towns, but it does require you also to admit that that's what you're looking for. So I wonder, I don't know this, dear reader, but I wonder if there's a little bit of keep up syndrome happening for them that they could release. And in releasing said syndrome, they could find their people.
Oh, I like that. So wait, so go public with it. You said go public. So like take out an ad in the paper. Are we going on Tinder? What's the vibe here?
I mean, I would just go as low lift as social media at this point. Unless she has like, I say she, he, she, they.
It could be anybody.
Maybe it's a dog. I don't know.
It could be Colin. We don't even know.
She did say she's not a solo girly. So
that's true.
That's why I got that. That's where I got that. It's a girly. So, I mean, unless she has like, 6 followers on Instagram, I would just start posting to Instagram. Like, I'm looking for these kind of people. So here's what I want to pitch. Was this person flirting with her?
Oh, like turns is a euphemism. Like earn these turns in my bed, in the bed of my pickup truck is what they really mean.
No, I just think it's the mountain town equivalent of a young 20-something male of pulling someone's hair in the sandbox kind of a thing. And, if there's one way... If there's a quick and easy way to get a man to shut up, it's to ask him if he's flirting with you. Like, it's just about the most efficient way to shock them out of their own friggin' boots, like, than anything I've discovered in my adult life. So, I mean, I would suggest that as a strategy for her. I would also I'd just love to see that. I'd love to hear whether or not that's a potential reframe. Like, maybe this man was, this person, again, sorry if it was I don't think it was a woman. I'm just going to be real. I wonder if he was flirting. You got to earn your turn.
They don't really know how to do that. Yeah.
No.
I've been to a lot of mountain town bars, so I'm familiar with this specific animal. They really don't know how to do that. See, this is why I'm like, maybe we should go back to the beginning and just stick with babies and elderly people and go from there. Maybe build a base. Like a gentle base.
I mean, she's asking where she can meet people to ski and bike with at a more, reasonable. Find the local Lamaze class, okay? Who's quite literally about to give birth. Okay, these people have been humbled by their bodies and they are ready to participate in activities at a more gentle, with a more gentle approach. The pool. The pool at like toddler swim hour or whatever it is.
Yes.
These are new moms, overwhelmed, maybe they're just more appreciative just to get out for some fresh air. It's less about Strava at that point. They're just like relieved to be away from their child for 45 minutes to an hour.
I mean, you could even start early and go to like prenatal yoga classes, I would say.
Sure, prenatal yoga.
Every mountain town
Lamaze.
in the summer has like the evening outdoor concerts, which are just littered with toddlers running around and empty pizza boxes and families and stuff like that, all of which are probably rode their bikes to get there. So that might be a rich, target-rich environment for our
I feel like I have more friends with kids than not at this point. Like I'm kind of like the late bloomer in that area of my life, but I'm like, guys, like, let's get real. Like the 3-year-olds running in circles, like while we're at a house music show, like nothing kills a vibe more than like your snotty little friggin' toddler, like running in circles and crashing it while you're trying to like vibe out to like sexy house. I'm like, no, we need to like delineate. The kids can go to the folk music festivals. Okay, fine.
That's the limit.
I'm not coming anyway. But like when we're at cool DJs, like leave them at home for the love of God. Like,
don't you want these kids to have taste?
I mean, they're being raised in mountain towns. Like them having taste is anyway. Don't ask me how I really feel.
Oh, that was perfect. Yeah, this is
It's
great.
fun.
We'll workshop this. We'll just keep workshopping this. Cool kids, I think you can also keep workshopping this. So social media, take out an ad in the paper, just stand in the street maybe and scream who has a toddler and wants to hang. You might get some action. So and you might actually get some action if you start asking people if they're hitting on you. So I think Katie nailed it. So
Thanks,
thanks,
guys.
Katie. Yeah, that was real expert. It was like talking to a psychiatrist. And
Oh, thank you.
if
I'm going to tell my psychiatrist that.
that's
It was
exactly
real
right.
talk. I think most people would have said, "What do you mean? Everyone in the mountain towns are so chill
Yeah,
and
they're
out there
so
having a good old
nice.
time." And then Katie's like, "No, fuck that. That's actually
We don't lie on
let
this
me tell you
show.
what's going on." Yeah.
We don't kink shame and we don't lie.
I do think that the tides are changing a bit, though. There's definitely a more welcoming. I mean, I joke, but also there does seem to be a more welcoming kind of approach to being in the outdoors lately, and say the last like 2 to 5 years, I would say even,
Yeah.
of being like, right, this is an extremely privileged recreational pursuit. Why are we kink shaming people?
That's right. Thank you. You
So.
get it. That's right. Well, if you want to hear more about how not to kink shame, or maybe how to, I don't, Katie does it all. You go across her socials. It's all Katie Burrell TV. Visit her website, conveniently also named katieburrelltv.com. Check out Weeklayers. And Katie, you're amazing. We'd love to have you back sometime. People, send us your great questions. And Katie, have a great time. And I hope you don't run into any children at raves this weekend.
I appreciate it.
We are so excited to welcome the official gear garage of Gear Abbey. That's Garage Grown Gear. Garage Grown Gear, aka GGG, that is a lot of alliteration in 2 sentences, is here to make sure all of Gear Abbey's outdoorsy friends can get the newest outdoor stuff that they need for their next adventure. This week, it's an all-food edition of the Gear Garage. We've got Embark Coffee Maple Energy. Freeze-dried cheddar cheese cubes by Foundation Outdoors. That sounds very delightful to me as a Wisconsinite. And Summit Smolder powdered hot sauce by Wildfire Spice Company. Oh yeah. I'm ready to make a tortilla, but also get real hype on some coffee maple energy. So it's going to be like a manic tortilla making. You know what? It doesn't matter if you're manic or chill. Garage Grown Gear and Gear Abbey are the perfect outdoor combo. So get shopping by heading over to garagegrowngear.com right now. Winter's unpredictably mild one week, freezing the next. I grew up in the Midwest, and every inch of snow was exciting until it melted into a soupy mess. And then to make things worse, it would refreeze on every flat surface, making walking across it impossible. Going outside became its own adventure, and that includes choosing what to wear. That's why people have trusted Fjällräven jackets for more than 50 years. Born and tested in Sweden, they're made to handle everything from everyday cold to true Arctic extremes. The philosophy's simple: build outerwear that performs, protects, and lasts. From the Keb GTX jacket to the Expedition Pack Down hoodie, you'll find something to suit the winter conditions you know are on the way for your neck of the woods. Get ready for winter and make cold optional by heading to fjällräven.com. That was awesome. I'm so glad we got Katie. That was Katie. What a delight. Katie, come back anytime.
I know, right?
Any-
Killian and then Katie. Like we
Only
have
K
made
names.
it now.
We have to find other and we had Kristen.
Oh my God.
We're gonna have to delete the episode with Sam Shield on
Sam
it.
Shield,
Sorry, Sam.
you're fired.
That episode is canceled.
Yeah, that's right. You're gone.
Only K names.
K names only.
All right. Well, I don't know who wrote the next question. Maybe they have a K name, maybe they don't. But why don't you hit me with it?
They do not, but we'll allow it. So the question is, Dear Gear Abbey, my fiance just said yes to an amazing job in New York City. A lot of people getting married or trying to get married on Gear Abbey.
So
I feel
much.
like lately,
This is where we
right?
bring people together.
Yes.
Yes. I did this.
Enforcer. Okay. And so my fiance just said yes to an amazing job in New York City, and I'm happy for him, but I'm also kind of freaked out about the lifestyle change.
Fair.
Totally fair. Yeah, we're both super outdoorsy and currently live in Asheville, North Carolina. So it's pretty easy to get out and run or paddle or even drive up to Linfield Gorge to climb. Are we going to hate it up there? For context, we'll be living in Brooklyn and we will have a car. Thanks for any help, Maria V. Having a car. I don't know. Just ditch the car. But
Somebody who
sounds
drove
like
in New York twice while I lived there. Yeah. But
I just, right? Like, is the cost of parking your car the same as rent of your apartment? Maybe.
maybe.
Pretty close.
It depends on where
Yeah.
they are in Brooklyn. That's for sure. I like
But
that the
congrats,
sign off
Maria.
is just thanks for any help. There's like an air of
Please help
desperation.
me. Dear Abby, help me.
Help me. You know what? I actually love that this question comes right after we talk about mountain towns because I am nothing, you know this, Colin, I am nothing if not a passionate defender of connecting with the outdoors exactly where we are. And I believe in urban nature.
We don't kink shame on Dear
That's
Abby,
right.
and we defend urban outdoor locations.
We do it all.
We do it all here.
We are the enforcer.
Enforcer. How many times are we going to do this?
We're
Poor
done.
listener.
That's it.
Okay.
You have to tally in the show notes this week. If you guys aren't listening to the show notes, every time Colin makes that ding noise, whatever, that's a little thing. Colin has written a pithy little footnote that's in our show notes
That's right.
that you can find on rockfight.co. I love it. I look at it every week, even though I obviously know what the podcast is about. I don't know why I just sounded Canadian, but I look at it every week. He is actually, it's funny. He's funny writing and he's funny on the air. So if you, like my mom, think Colin, that guy is funny, check out the show notes.
Thanks, Dear Abby.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. But you know what? Let's help Maria because Maria needs any help now.
She does.
All right. So, Maria, I am a huge lover of New York. I'm a defender of New York as an outdoor town, even though I think a lot of people would fight me, tooth and nail on that. And not to gloat or drag up sad memories for Colin.
I should have known.
But I did come away with victory when I won the best outdoor town draft that he held on the Rock Fight earlier this year. If you haven't heard that, go over to the Rock Fight or just look for best outdoor town drafts. You can hear my victory in action. But my final draft list included not just New York City, but also Los Angeles, the two places I've lived for a long time. And there were some people who were really pissed off about that. But obviously enough people loved it because they voted me number one draft. Ha.
Yeah, the people from Jackson Hole were pissed off about it.
Whatever.
Excuse me, not
They
from
go
who had moved
chew on
to
a deer
Jackson
antler. I don't know.
Hole. Yeah.
Go hang out under the many arches of deer antlers and buy a $12 latte.
Remember your youth in Bethesda, Maryland. All right.
Bethesda. Wow. So Maria, Colin's gonna go lick his wounds for a bit, but I'm gonna dig in. And as a lover of New York, I got you. But it is gonna be a huge adjustment to move to New York City from Asheville, especially. I moved there from Charleston, South Carolina. I lived there for almost 5 years before I moved to the city, and I loved it. I was, I would go crabbing. I would go out to the ocean every single day at the beach, and I would bike ride, all sorts of things. And I really felt like I was going to miss that living in the city. But if you go with an open mind, which I think you are, considering you're writing in, I think you're going to be surprised at how much there is to do outside in the city. And I'm going to think about just the things that you mentioned. You mentioned a couple things that you like to do. So first, I would say don't just go visit Outlandish, which is this really cool outdoor shop in Crown Heights that I wish existed when I lived there. But also sign up for their mailing list. I get their mailing list. This is my little weird FOMO from having lived there and trying to time travel back. But they are forever doing group trail runs and hikes locally. And then they do these kind of field trips every now and then. And it is such a great way to plug into outdoor community right away, especially trail runners and hikers. I would also say two other trail running groups that I know are Brooklyn Trail Club and Asian Trail Mix, both of which are open to all people, whether or not you live in Brooklyn or you're Asian. So there's already amazing opportunities for plugging in on foot. On foot. You can also just walk around the city all the time, which I did. But I would say on that note, get to know the city's parks. I don't know what part of Brooklyn you're in. Brooklyn is very large, you and your car over there. But Prospect Park is amazing, and people routinely run loops there. I've actually had friends tell me oh yeah, you should run the hill loop. Your quads are going to get a workout. And I'm like, I run in the Sierra sometimes, but yeah, I can't wait.
Wow. Little humble brag sort of filtered in here.
When I say run in the Sierra, you do know that I'm just dragging my carcass up at half the speed of, snail's pace. But yeah, so Prospect Park is amazing. There's tons of running loops in there. Forest Park is a little further kind of northeast, but it also has a nice mix of paths and trails and paved areas. I also always make time to go run in Central Park when I'm in town. It was a very grounding place for me when I lived there. So if you're feeling a little itchy and like you need to touch nature, go to Central Park, especially the area called the Ramble. I would just say don't go running around there in dark unless you want to maybe see people making sweet bare-cheeked love in the moonlight. There are a lot of ass cheeks in the Ramble at night. So
Is it sweet love
I
that they're
don't
making?
know. You know, I
Or-
think there's a variety that happens there. I don't know. Some of it might be a little more slappy. I don't know.
No kink shaming.
That's right. But so that if that's not your thing, don't go there at night. Okay.
Yeah.
The park is closed
That's true.
anyway. So, all right, let's talk about paddling. You mentioned the water. So I know some people think that all the water around Manhattan is just a contaminated, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style Dayglow toxic sludge. That's the Gowanus Canal. I kid. But ignore the haters and don't drink the water, just to be safe. But there's actually something called the New York City Water Trail, which links about 160 square miles of waterway across all 5 of the boroughs. Manhattan Kayak Company rents kayaks and paddle boards. They run classes and paddle trips in the warmer months. And then up in Greenpoint, if you're in that part of Brooklyn, or if you don't mind just going up there, you can become a member of the North Brooklyn Community Boathouse, you and all the hipsters, and they organize community paddling sessions. So boom, now you're paddling. All right, you're running, you're walking, you're hiking, you're paddling. What else are you going to do? You want to climb? All right. They are, just like any city, there's plenty of indoor options. You got Bouldering Project in Gowanus, Metro Rock, Bushwick, Vital, and Greenpoint. These are just some Brooklyn places. There's stuff in Manhattan. There's stuff all around. For outdoor climbing, though, this is the one time you're going to be glad, the one and only time you're going to be glad you have that car.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one and only. Listen, I didn't have my car. I sold it before I went to New York. And the 2 times I ever drove in the city were times I borrowed a car from a friend to go like big shopping. And it was just pure anxiety. So.
Oh, I think driving in New York's not that bad. It is
What?
really a grid, but
No,
but
it's
I mean,
awful.
it's overwhelming of just the immensity of it. But especially with GPS and stuff
It's
like
not
that.
even
pretty-
immense.
it's
The
not bad.
thing is, like, Manhattan's tiny, but if you have to drive in Manhattan or just on any of the
Yeah.
bridges during rush hour, anyway,
Yeah, no, it's not fun.
save all your driving
At
for
all.
3 a.m.,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, exactly.
But one of those drives, like one of the drives that will be worth it is to get in your car and go up to the Shawngunks, which most people just call the Gunks. It's less than a 2-hour drive, depending on how you choose to fight your way out of the city. But the cliffs here are amazing. And it's really cool because most of the cracks are actually horizontal rather than vertical. So it's a very different style of climbing if you're used to vertical cracks. And it's just really pretty. There's lots of hiking up there. And I would say if you think you're going to go up at least a handful of times, which I'm guessing you probably will since you'll probably have an allergic reaction to the city for a while, get an annual pass to Mohonk Preserve, which has the highest concentration of routes in that area. And it's going to be well worth it. I could go on and on and on. There's bird watching. You could ride the train to the beach. You can hang out in Inwood Hill Park, which is super cool. But I'm sure all the mountain town folks are getting bored by now. So enjoy New York, Maria, and eat a slice for me. Ask me our final question so that I could go and eat dinner after this.
I love that. I want to go eat dinner too.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Last question. Dear Gear Abby, I own a Big Agnes copper spur tent.
Okay.
Convince me that it's worth the money to upgrade to one of those ultralight Dyneema trekking pole tents. Signed, Kristen from up north.
That's
Apparently, Kristen lives up north.
okay. I like that. Thank
Also,
you
another
for-
K name.
Oh, you're right. Thank you for specifying, Kristen. That's not really a question, by the way. And you've told
Yeah.
me pretty much nothing about yourself.
So wait,
Or your-
did you already pay for the Big Agnes?
Like, yeah,
and now
where are
you're
we in
like,
this?
I have some buyer's
I
remorse.
feel
Make
like-
me feel better about this Gear Abby.
I need some details. Like, I need a little bit more.
What do you think Kristen is hoping for here? That you're going to be like, just don't worry about it. Like, the one you have is great. Or is she going to be like, God, and she's like, thank God. Or is it more?
Is this going to be something like, I know we're getting closer to holiday shopping. Are you going to give this to somebody and be like, here's proof that you should buy this for me?
Is she trying to catch you in something?
What's happening, Kristen? I need
I
more.
knew you were going to say that, Gear Abby.
How up north? Where up north? I've got so many questions for you, Kristen. You didn't ask me a single question, but I've got a lot for you.
Durston's Canadian. Maybe she's a mole from Canada.
Oh, you are thinking about Durston. You know I'm probably going to talk about my Durston, so that's very
Well, I
prescient
assume
of
I
you.
saw ultralight Dyneema trekking pole tent.
There's lots. There's Zeepfax.
There are.
There's a lot of other makers, but But you're right. I'm definitely going to talk about my Durston. But anyway, I mean, Kristen, whatever. I am uniquely qualified and delighted to nerd out on this topic as somebody who once wrote an entire ode to the various tents she slept in, which was actually the very first piece of mine that ever ran on Adventure Journal. So Stephen Casimiro and I were reminiscing about it recently. But yeah, so I'll have Colin link that in the show notes if you want to see all of the tents I've ever slept in.
Certainly.
Who doesn't? There's somebody with a fetish out there. So, all right, I'm going to indulge in a little tent talk since you asked, or you didn't really ask since you just stated.
Since you stated. Yeah, stated. That's what I said.
Okay. So I'm going to make my pitch, pun absolutely intended. You know I love a pun. So for the uninitiated, because there's people who are probably like, what the hell is a copper spur? Is it a mining implement? No, it is what we call a freestanding tent. So that just means that when it's set up, it doesn't need to be staked into the ground to hold its shape because it's got an internal frame created by some kind of pole structure. And Kristen here wants me to convince him that it's worth spending more money to upgrade to a lighter tent that doesn't come with a pole structure and instead uses trekking poles to maintain the structure. And Kristen said they want something that's ultralight, made out of a pricey but very lightweight material called Dyneema, also known as Cuban fiber, or DCF if you're nasty. Now, and I am. Colin is silent laughing and shaking his head right now. Oh, he just rubbed his forehead and covering his eyes. Listen, you're just glad it's not bear puns. Let me do what I want, man.
We're going to have to get tent nasty as a Gear Abbey t-shirts.
We are keeping our ongoing list of band names and t-shirts. So that's fine. You could add that one on there. All right. So me and my nasty self, I used to backpack exclusively in a Big Agnes, and it was the Fly Creek Ultralight 2, which is a relatively lightweight, freestanding two-person tent. Although, let's be real, any tent labeled as a two-person tent is lying to you, unless your idea of a two-person tent, like a comfortable two-person tent, is spending the night with somebody's knee in your ass. Like, come on.
Or they're an infant.
If the second person is actually a Lego person, you'll be fine.
Right. Great.
That's right. Or imaginary. Even better if they're imaginary. But I did, eventually I too was like, I'm going to lighten up a bit. And I bought Gossamer Gear's The One, which is an ultralight trekking pole tent that is not lying when it says it's just for one person. It is a cozy little tent. I appreciate your honesty, Gossamer Gear. But anyway, the Fly Creek was about 2 pounds. The One, which is made out of sil nylon, which is not the ultralight Dyneema sexy fabric, came in just over 1 pound, which is pretty good weight savings, from what I had before. So I loved saving the space in my bag. I loved just kind of being cozied up in there. I was into it. It converted me into a trekking pole tent user. The problem is, as I get older, I want even less weight on my back. I've become even more of an ultralight gram weenie over the years. So for me,
bursitis.
Wow. Okay. I unleashed a monster, and I don't know if maybe I should apologize to everyone at this point for that. No, you know what? We're just going to do a special extended mix, and it's just going to be all of your sidebars, but like in that voice. So at the end of season 1 of Gear Abbey, whatever that means, the end of this year, we're just going to...
Or 40 years from now.
40 years from now. We're never ending this.
This is one season.
One long season. Oh, man. Okay. But yeah, so for me, because me and my bursitis want lighter weight, instead of spending money on a chiropractor, I'm like, I'll just spend more money on tents and lighter tents.
I co-sign that decision.
Right? That's right. Put your money at the things that matter. So I did buy the cult favorite Durston X-Mid Pro 1 about 2 years ago. It's almost my 2-year Durstanversary. And it is made out of that sexy and very expensive Dyneema fabric. And I freaked out for a minute after I hit buy, but then I got it in the mail and I set it up in the front yard and hung out in there so long that I think at least 4 neighbors walked up to me and were like, "What are you doing in there?"
Right. So, did you move out and into your tent?
Yeah, I'm trying something new. I've got renters. Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, that's me and how much I love my tents, Kristen, my personal tent journey. But here's why if you demanded I convince you, here's why you might want to swap for a trekking pole tent made out of sexy light fabrics. So I'd say number 1, it's just going to be lighter in your pack. That is the number 1 reason anyone should switch to a lighter tent, is because you want a lighter pack. That is just the simple Simon reason. It's also going to be smaller in your pack. It's going to take up less space. So if you have, a smaller volume pack, this works. Wow, I'm losing. It's because I'm thinking about noodles. I'm losing my ability to talk. I need carbs. Wow. All right. listen, it's going to be smaller in your pack. It's going to take up less space. So it'll work great for people who are thinking about ultralighting or even fast packing. Smaller the shelter, whatever. More food you can cram in your pack. If you do, you mentioned spending more money on one of these, but if you get a Sil nylon model like the one, it can actually be a lot cheaper than a freestanding tent. Right now, I noticed the one is about $255 and the Fly Creek UL2 is almost $450. So you could actually save quite a bit of money about, sell your old tent, get a new one. There's also a belief that trekking pole tents do have extra stability. I will say that Durston is just rock solid. But both of them, the one and the Durston X-Med, have held up in crazy storms above tree line. You just have to really make sure you've got them staked in and stabilized right. I also find that trekking pole tents have more adjustability as far as airflow, which is really important when you think about condensation. Yeah, because those freestanding tents, you're kind of setting it up and it's one little structure and it's all connected. And, with the trekking pole tents, you can adjust and lift up kind of what would be considered the vestibule fly almost. And I find that I just get so much better airflow, especially in the Durston. That is actually, it's called the skinny pitch, where you can pitch the whole tent completely differently if you don't have a big space. Like, it's pretty amazing. But also maybe, Kristen, you can also feel very smug about having more than one use for your trekking poles, because I know backpackers love feeling smug about multi-use items. So
until that pole breaks.
Until the pole breaks and you'll freak out. This is my number one fear.
I feel less smug now.
Yeah, the smugness has dissipated.
As I'm searching for sticks off the side of the trail.
Oh, man. I actually backpacked a friend of mine, MacGyver, who I think I've mentioned on the pod before. He came on the trail with me 2 summers ago and brought a hammock. And I was like, dude, we're going to be above tree line for a lot of the trail. He's like,
oh, no.
I'll figure it out.
Did he?
He did. He slept on the ground quite a few times.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
So he didn't figure it out.
He figured out how to adapt to sleeping on the ground like a small animal. So there's a learning curve with anything. Really, listen, anything you pick, there's going to be a learning curve. Your site selection becomes a bit more important. The Durston does have a big footprint, so I always had to be a little more thoughtful about it. The one had a smaller, so I could just kind of, shove it into small spots. And learning how to properly tension this thing is key, because this could be very hard in really soft sand or really soft gravel. And I have definitely done some lazy pitches and had my tent on my face in the middle of the night. So, you got to think about that. But Kristen, here's the thing. At the end of the day, do you need a trekking pole tent? I don't know. You gave me nothing to go off of. I have no idea. You already have a tent? Does it work? Is anything broken on it? I don't know. If it works for you, that's great. But if you want a lighter pack, go for a trekking pole tent. If you want a lighter pack and a lighter wallet, go for one made out of Dyneema.
Yeah, I don't want to listener shame Kristen here, but it is a little like, what are you doing?
That's right. We don't kink shame. Your kink is
right.
demanding me tell you things.
Well, the thing about a lot of camping gear, I mean, because I don't camp that much, I have a pretty old camping setup. Back when I worked for Go Light in 2007, I had the same sleeping bag. It has worked for me since 2007 because of the type of camping I do and how often I go. I have a couple of tents that I've gotten. Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty fair weather, right? So it's not like it doesn't need to perform all that well. It just needs to kind of fit in the bottom of the the stuff sack on a river trip or in the back of the car for a car camping trip, whatever it is. And the tent's kind of the same thing. Like, unless something tears or rips or whatever, it's I could have this gear specifically for another 20, 30 years if I really want to. So, Kristen, what are you doing with your tent is really the question.
Send me a follow-up email, Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen, come on.
Send me a DM on Instagram. Send me anything.
You a second chance.
You can send me physical mail if you want. The email.
Send a raven?
Yeah. Ooh, I'd love that. Like an owl or something. Some mystical bird. To send me like a mystical raptor. That would be really, if anybody wants to send a mystical raptor, send me an email first and then I'll give you my address and you can send a mystical raptor to me.
I'm going to just correct you this one time, Gear Abby.
Oh, no.
What you want them to send is the marmot with the
Oh my goodness. Nobody has emailed yet about marmots. There's got to be someone out there who works at like a marmot rescue, who has a marmot that I could come visit, who has a cat dressed up as a marmot. I'll take that.
For Halloween?
For Halloween. I'll dress up as a marmot. Oh, man.
Gear Abby's a furry. You heard it here first.
Wow. Well, I'm not a furry. I just feel like people need to know that. But that is it for this episode of Gear Abby.
Action-packed.
Full of the enforcer.
Action-packed.
Thank you. Until next time, you're going to send your burning questions and your marmots. But send your questions about your relationships.
Your burning marmots?
Don't send burning marmots. Just don't send. Actually, don't mail. Don't mail any marmots, okay? Let me do my outro, Colin. You have your own full podcast in which you get to outro to your heart's content. I almost said your heart's discontent, which may be true if you're talking about e-bikes. But yeah, listen, send your questions to me at deargearabby@gmail.com. I'm going to do my best to answer them or bring somebody else like Katie who can. And of course, head over to your podcast listening service of choice and subscribe, rate, and review to support the pod and personally make my day. And of course, follow us on Instagram at GearAbbyPod, and you might get lucky and see pictures of me floating in a flamingo like I posted a few weeks ago. In the meantime, today's episode was produced by David Karstad and my buddy here, Colin True, the Enforcer. Art direction provided by Sarah Gensert. I'm Shawnté Salabert, and remember, there are no dumb questions, just smart advice.
Right.